I'm very confident that Happy Workers' Day is in order to say it's a Friday, 1st of May 2026 is Workers' Day. Of course, it's an annual ritual, so they say, which is, of course, again, very big on the conversation lists here on the program this morning. This is how we welcome you to Global Morning here on Global Television. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe, and I have a Nigerian worker to my left side. Worker Jumai Manson, welcome to the
Don't give me a title. Good morning, Uyi. How are you doing today?
Doing very well.
First of all, happy new month.
Happy New Month.
And happy Workers' Day.
Oh, I'm a worker too.
You're a worker.
I almost forgot that.
Oh, please. To each and every one of you out there, good morning. And it's great to be here. It's a beautiful Friday. The tag TGIF, meaning thank God it's Friday. And hope you're having an amazing, relaxing public holiday. Because most workers, government workers are at home, except for some private individuals who just want to decide, okay, my workers take the day off our rest. But unlike us in the media channel, you cannot. We're here. Hi.
But isn't that the reason you are called a worker? You're supposed to be here working.
I know.
You've got to earn your title, Jimmy, please.
Oh, please. And you know, today I almost thought, funny enough, I thought today was a Saturday.
It has that feeling.
It has that. I don't want to get, because I know I work on Saturdays, but in the evenings. But at the same time, we had that feel of, no, please. When the alarm went off, I said, today's in my head.
Right.
Today's a Saturday. It cannot be Friday. And I remembered, oh my God, it's Friday, Global Morning, get up. So
But here we are.
Here we are.
Well, it's quite interesting. Again, Happy Workers Day to all Nigerian workers across different fields, sectors, and spheres, whether you are in the public or private space. Every other year will seem to be being commemorated on different levels across the country. Of course, it's a public holiday, so if you're not doing our kind of work, I mean, if you are not in a field that requires you to be working today, please knock yourself out, as they say. Make the most of it, enjoy yourself, have fun, but also reflect on where we are as a country, because one of the concerns now, Juma, is that the cost of living reality today is one of the factors, very sadly so, overshadowing the essence of Workers' Day. I mean, we are going to be all out today covering the stories and following the developments, and you realize that people will naturally be very vehement about, expressing how they feel about the economy, cost of living, whether you're talking about rent or food items or
transportation.
Exactly. It's just last September, families had to return their children to school. It was a bit of an amazing experience for them, because they knew there would be naturally so an upward review of tuition and other ancillary charges and things like that. And incidentally, September is not far flung again now. So the long and short of this is, if we really want to move the workers, the conversation around workers' welfare to the front burner, we've got to be seen to be doing that very sincerely. It should go beyond workers gathering across stadia in the country today, including at the Eagle Square, for example. Doing march past, saluting the president or the minister of interior or the respective state governors. It has to be such that we place the issues where they are.
Yes.
One of the things I learned at a very early age is that if you do not call a problem by the name of it, you can't solve it.
No, you cannot.
You'll be pretending about it, you'll be skirting around it. Now, that's the same.
About it.
Right, and denial may just be convenient for the short term, but on the long run it's dangerous and can be very catastrophic on many levels, right? So we're saying that we've got to realize, first of all, that workers in Nigeria have problems. A friend called from from the US last year, and talked about how that he was interested in buying a property in Abuja. It was very specific, not anywhere else in Nigeria, but in Abuja. And he was trying to sell me the model that is prevalent, that is standard in the US in terms of mortgage and stuff like that. I said, look, boy, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work here.
In fact, if you had your way, if I had my way, I would have you come to Nigeria yourself and just do an assessment of all of the options available to you. I know what these are two sides of the same book, so to say, the same word by two different realities. It doesn't work like that. Yes, we know there have been facilities here and there in terms of saying, let's ease access to housing, affordable housing, as they say.
Payment structure.
You can spread payment over a 10, 20-year period. You can get a mortgage loan or facility, whatever you call it, 12% interest per annum, which for many people is cutthroat. I spoke with the former president of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Redan, about 3 years ago, Dr. Wamako. What he told me was even government makes a bad situation worse. Because he said, for example, under former Minister of Housing, Fashola, you had estates that had been developed, all right? Again, credit to late former President Buhari. But the bad news is those estates were not affordable. That developers in the private sector were offering something far more attractive, far more incentivized than government, which is a very pathetic irony. So if you have a situation like that, it means that in a bid to solve one problem, you probably have created 2 or even 3. So we must look at, first of all, data in that regard to say, what are the numbers in terms of housing deficits, right? And then you ask yourself, in terms of other aspects of welfare for Nigerian workers, do we need to do something about their pay? And on the final note, speaking of pay, recently we heard just a few days ago that the federal government has now bumped the pay and allowances of workers, effective, I understand, in the next few months. But that's some good news, really, and we hope workers will also come to testify about that. But in all of this, we're saying that a laborer is worthy of his wages.
Oh yes, it is. You've spoken so well, and these are the concerns that most workers have when it comes to the daily upkeep of life. Many of them would tell you their salaries cannot even take them through the end of the month. Talk more of when you have rent at the back of your mind. For those who do not have their own personal homes, they have rent, they have fees. In fact, kids are just resuming school now. Last week, and then this week, some this week, or some yes, exactly. So he had their school fees to think about. I would tell you for free, they had extension classes in some schools, and most parents couldn't afford the fact that their kids will leave for extension classes when they have school resuming in 2 weeks, when they can just go to school, because the high rate of transportation and the cost of fuel going back and forth. So that's a very serious problem. A lot of workers out there cannot make ends meet. When it comes to, they have a lot, when they have aged parents and the salary is just as small as cannot even get by, talk more of their own immediate family. These are the problems surrounding all of these pays, and hopefully the needful is done when it comes to solving these issues. And you know that we keep going back and forth. There is no year, have you realized, there is no year that workers do not go on strike, especially NLC. There is always something. Either the federal government has defaulted in the cause of their payment structure, or is still on the table for negotiations, or there is something, and then the next thing you know, they tell us that NLC is going on an indefinite strike, and the next thing they tell us they decide to suspend it. We keep going back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes they do this 1-2 days and they're done, but at the same time it is still the same cycle. We keep going around the same cycle. When does it stop? I want to ask someone. Unfortunately, we're supposed to get someone here today, but his schedule is extremely busy, other engagements, which we understand. But getting to the root cause of when does this cycle stop? When do we realize that workers are important in the society? They actually drive the force, really. Because you know what happened in the FCT when the workers decided to, you know what happened, and you know the millions that will be lost on that day. So unfortunately, I think there is a lot that needs to be done when it comes to workers. Basically, we don't ask for too much. You always say it. We ask for just the basics. We want power. We want low cost in transportation. We want food to be at the barest minimum. Like I said, most people do not understand numbers. Even some workers will tell you, what are all of these statistics? When I can go to just the nearby kiosks, and then the next thing you know, I buy something of 50,000 naira, I cannot even account for whatever. These are very important necessities. And of course, you know, food is on the top burner, because, hey, they say a hungry man is an angry man, and you know what that can happen. But a lot, I think it's a lot that has to do with that sector, a lot. And most workers, I will tell you for free today, I'm, let's say, predicting now, most of the comments we'll get at the end when we go out for repertorial or go out for coverage, it will not be palatable, because many workers are grieved. They're not happy. And it's so sad that when you're not happy, you cannot give your best. Put passion aside. Put passion aside. Like I always say it, even if you're passionate about something and you're not being paid, getting the worth of it, you might not care at the beginning because you're passionate. But when you look back and when someone comes up to you and say, Daddy, my school fees, hold on, they're going to pay me, or they've paid but it's not enough. Daddy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm hungry. All of these things that can make you, affect the mental state of an individual.
Very true.
It's a serious problem. I cannot be. I will not give my. Let me use myself as an example. Any other person, even me, you cannot give your best. And the only time you can give your best and deliver is when you know that at the end of the day, the reward is worth every time spent giving what you have given. But unfortunately, it's not so. I think I'm talking too much now.
No, that's okay too much. But there's something I noticed. I mean, time and again, you said I can tell you for free. It looks like I'm not going to pay for anything today. But I'm next weekend starting, right?
Come on, what's wrong with you?
But quite frankly, those were some real points you made there. You see, thing is, most times it's not just so much about the pay packet or package or how much you're handling people.
Yes.
It's about a couple of other ways that you can appreciate them, right? And these are conversations we must continue to have, especially as it has to do with our workers. There'll be time for breakfast very soon. I understand.
My favorite part of the show, Taste and Texture, right?
The food part.
That's my favorite part. All right, now Uyi has just brought the cat out of the bag, and of course, yes, it's Taste and Texture. Up next, stay tuned. It's Global Morning.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is Saadatu Garba, your creative chef. In today's episode of the program, we'll be making chips in egg. Chips and egg is the ultimate breakfast consumed in Nigerian homes. The delicious richness of the potatoes pairs nicely with the egg and other ingredients that you'd love to make this over and over again. Ingredients: potatoes, 4 eggs, chopped onions, chopped scotch bonnet, green and red bell peppers, seasoning cubes, salt, vegetable oil, and water. Step 1. Peel the potatoes and cut into long strips. Add your potatoes into a bowl and sprinkle some salt. Add some oil to a pan, then fry your potatoes till crispy. Step 2. For the eggs, break your eggs into a bowl. Sprinkle some salt and beat the eggs. In a pan, add some oil and onions and fry for a bit. Add your bell peppers, scotch bonnet, and stir, then add your seasoning powder. Add the beaten eggs into a pan and mix the eggs and vegetables together. Arrange your chips into the pan and cover to cook for a minute. Flip the egg and chips to the other side to cook as well. There you have it, your chips in egg is ready to enjoy. That's a wrap on today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you enjoyed this culinary demonstration and trust you will try this recipe at home. Be sure to join me again for yet another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
All right, well, there you have it. I don't know what to call that phrase, Jemai. What was that?
Yeah, this is the part where you ask me. Say, yeah.
I have to be humble, please. Enlighten me.
Okay, that is all about potatoes and egg pizza. That's just the local way of making pizza. You know, we have the no. You see how fast I am when it comes to Jemai Manson. Okay, it's. But you know what it is when it comes to pizza, with the flour, the pepperoni, the pepper, and all of that, you know, with the cheese.
Right.
But this is just a way of making chips and eggs. That's potato chips, Irish potatoes and eggs in a different way, more nicer in the pizza form, and just making it nicely and all of that. Delicious, by the way.
Yeah, it looks delicious.
Delicious.
It looks like an amazing idea for
yes,
breakfast.
It is.
I will begin my month of May with that idea.
I like that.
You see how the time on your hands to do that. But yesterday was a big day for politicians and indeed for political parties, especially the frontliners in our landscape. The Supreme Court came through with, verdicts for both the PDP and the ADC.
Yes, it was.
One was, a bit depressing for the actors involved. The other was a moment for jubilation.
Yeah.
For the ADC, for example, they were jubilating because the court now says, look, David Mark led, leadership of the ADC wants to be reinstated. And then in the meantime, the issue of status quo ante-bellum should be returned to the court of first instance of the college, which is the Federal High Court.
Yes.
All right. And we saw how ADC members were jubilating all over the court yesterday. Of course, Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson of the party, lent his voice to it. We saw cancel on both sides, talking and things like that. So it was a defining moment for the opposition because as it stands right now, Juma, you and I know that the ADC is the face of the opposition, like the poster boy of the opposition in Nigeria. You know that the PDP had played for a while until things flipped just a couple of months ago. But then on the side of the PDP, the court says, look, again, the Supreme Court, look, that's event you heard in Ibadan between 15th and 16th of November last year, it's null, void, and of no consequence whatsoever.
True.
Because you had already been ordered by a competent court to go ahead with it. But then you went ahead with it, so it's not recognized. And as such, the leadership of Abdurrahman is recognized as the authentic and bona fide leadership of the PDP.
Yes.
Now, the implication of that, for a second, if we should put it in context, is that the Tani Moturaki-led faction of the party, as it then was, would have to step aside, as I say.
They have to.
And that's where, at least until now, you had the likes of Governor of Your State, Sheikh Makinde, his counterparts in Bauchi, Mohammed Bala, and so on and so forth. And that's between yesterday and today, the question of what now happens to that faction, because you have quite a number of people there as well, influential politicians who had also been founding members of the PDP. There's the speculation that they will end up in the ADC ultimately, because the idea is we have to give APC a run for its money. And then on the side of the PDP, because as it stands right now in the eye of the law, when we say the PDP, we're talking about the Abdurrahman-led leadership, which is, of course, where you have the national leader, Yesa Wike, Minister of the FCT. It means that that party too will have to redefine itself. Wike has said clearly, and those who are staunchly in support of him have also made very clear that, look, we are not fielding presidential candidates in 2027. We are going to support President Tinubu in that regard. However, we will field candidates across all other segments, governorship, National Assembly, House of Assembly, and what have you. There was still a few members of even the Wike, if you like, enclave, who say that, look, that's an overreach. It's counterintuitive for us as a party. How can we be opposition? In fact, supposedly the leading opposition party, we're not fielding the candidates, we're throwing our way behind a ruling party. Yes, they think that's a very dumb thing to do. So they say, so that again can become a bit of a conflict for Wike and his inner caucus going into 2027. But in all of this, the APC is watching with an eagle eye to see how it can put the opposition, whether it's the PDP or the Labour Party or the ADC, in a place of disadvantage in such a way that by the time they realize, they would have been limping on one leg going into 2027. But we must also acknowledge the fact that with this, if you like, judicial victory for the ADC, the APC now has more work to do, really, because before now, the party had been derecognized by INEC.
Oh, yes.
Flowing from yesterday's verdict of the Supreme Court, that will, we expect, be reversed. The party, under the leadership of former President of the Senate, David Mark, will be reinstated.
Yes.
With that done, it means the political tussle just has begun.
Yes, it has. And of course, we need lots of strategy put in place when it comes to this. Of course, the APC has a lot of work to do, like you said, when it comes to being very strategic. And of course, with the PDP and what Wike mentioned, well, for me, is that the right move to make? I think it is, but well, it's just me saying. But at the same time, let's just see what this holds basically. Like I've always mentioned before, you cannot predict politicians. They always have a way of, going about or
Meandering.
you have to say it that way. Don't put me on the spot.
No, come on. There's a reason we speak English, right?
Yeah, truly.
We have to find the words.
Yeah, but you know how it is with politicians. They're unpredictable. But
Right.
let's just see what this brings. I think everyone, like you said, is bringing on their A game, and everyone is going back to the drawing board to see what can happen. So they won't limp on one leg, like what we said. But at the same time, let's just see what it brings. Let's just see how far this will go. 2027 is not far anymore. We are thinking that it's far. It's not. This is 2026. Before you know, you hear politicians everywhere. Let's just see what this brings and how far this will go. Let's hear strategies, going back to the drawing board and see the weight in which they want to pull.
Right. Well, we'll put some weight on the program as always for you today, but we're taking a break now so Ramsey Inokabo can bring us some motivation on Heart to Heart Inspirational.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is Heart to Heart Inspirational. And of course, my name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Your voice matters. That's what we want to look at today. Your voice matters. Okay. It doesn't matter. When we say your voice matters, what are we talking about? Is it that you are talkative? Is it that you are loquacious? Is it that you are a lingua franca? You can speak a lot of languages. That's what we mean when we say your voice matters. A lot of voices have gone down the drain today. A lot of good voices, all right? When we say your voice matters, are we talking about the fact that you can sing or you are a poet? No, it's beyond that. Let me give you something right now. Silence has cost the world many solutions. Somewhere, someone needed your voice, but you never knew. But one of the things that have stopped a lot of people, a lot of voices from being heard, a lot of opinions from being shared, a lot of talents from being manifested is fear. Fear of what will happen if it doesn't go my way. My voice, are you sure my idea is going to count? Are you sure my opinion matters? Your voice is needed at several places for several reasons, but fear convinced you to stay quiet. You see what fear does? What is fear? In the actual sense of it, let me define fear for you. Fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Let me give you the acronym of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing to be real. That is false evidence appearing real. F for fear, E for evidence, A for appearing, then R for real. It is not real, but it's appearing to be real. You see, you've been quiet because of fear. You've been quiet because of maybe you feel you're going to be embarrassed, whereas you have a very good idea. Some people can never share their ideas. All right. I'm not saying you should share your vision to dream killers. That's not what I'm saying. Please, let's get this right, because I tell people all the time, it's not everybody you share your dreams with. If you are in doubt, please go and ask Joseph, his own brother. You remember what they did to him. I'm not saying you should share your dream with every Dick and Harry. Your plans, go and share your plans with everyone you see on the road. In fact, people, it's not even good to talk too much. Anywhere you go, you are just like a typewriter. 200 words in 1 minute. Habba. That's not the kind of voicing, speaking that I'm talking about. All right? Your voice carries story. It carries your experience. And it carries your perspective. And a lot of people will tell you that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A lot of people cannot be helped because, number one, they don't know the right people to even talk to. A lot of people are talking to the wrong persons per time. First of all, you need to know where and when your voice is supposed to be heard. You need to know where and when you need to speak. You don't speak everywhere. You don't talk everywhere. You should not be predictable. When people see you, they should not say, you don't they come. We know. Then before you know what is happening, you landed the venue and 200 words per minute. And you're not even making sense with what you're saying. It's embarrassing. That's not the kind of voice that I'm talking about. The voice that comes with quality. The voice that comes with perspective to every situation. The voice that comes with an experience that someone can learn from and become successful in life. A voice that carries stories that stands the test of time. Do you know that you go to some places and you share your story or maybe an experience or a perspective and somebody catch their vision? Yes. Somebody might just be around there. This is somebody that has been thinking, all right, of what to do in life. What do I even need to do in life? What am I in life for? Some people are even thinking suicide because they don't know what to do. Life doesn't mean anything to them. Then you come there, you begin to share stories, you begin to share testimonies, you begin to say some kind of positive things, and these people begin to realize themselves. They begin to discover themselves because in every word that you speak, somebody is hearing, and every word that you hear per time have an impact in your life, either negatively or positively. And that's the reason I tell people all the time, it's not everyone you listen to. Be careful what you hear all the time. Be careful who you give your ears to. Be careful who you share your moments with. What you have survived qualifies you to speak. What you've learned position you to help other people. You don't need to be a perfect person to be impactful. You don't need perfection to be impactful. That thing you are hiding, that story you are hiding, that idea you are hiding, that inspiration you are hiding could be something that can change somebody's life forever. A lot of us are supposed to be making impacts with our voices, but we are hidden. We are trampled in fear. You need authenticity, as a matter of fact. Let me give you an instance. This is just an illustration. A candle, we all know what a candle is. A candle doesn't just lose light by lighting another candle. All right? You get that. You light a candle, for instance, then you use that candle to light another candle. The first candle that you use in lighting the second candle does not lose its light. That is impact there. It has made impact, but it never affected it in any way. Now, your voice doesn't diminish others. It multiplies impact. That is, I'm talking about a positive voice, all right? A positive voice. Okay, there are some people that if they come and they speak, you hear wisdom. You spend 2 minutes with some persons. When they want to leave, you say, you'll be feeling bad. I wish this person can stay with me a little more time. Because these are people that their voices multiply impact. Maybe you knew something before. Why am I saying this? Let me establish this. I'm saying all of this so that you know the kind of people you listen to. You know the kind of voices you listen to. And you on your own part should know that your voice needs to be heard. Except you know the import of it. You will just keep quiet where you are supposed to speak. You are not making impact. It doesn't diminish you. If you make impact, it doesn't affect you. But then it's lighting somebody's world. maybe to somebody that is downcasted, somebody that is about committing suicide, somebody who is feeling lonely, just a word from you can make somebody's day. Like I was telling someone sometimes back, just a smile, good morning, how you doing, can make someone feel big. Exchange of smile. By the time you smile to someone and the person smiles back, you know, it's have a way of making people feel good, of setting people's day, a good pace for people's day. Stop minimizing your stories. Speak, even when your voice is shaky. Share what you know now, all right? Share what you know now. Because maybe by the time you want to speak it the next time, it may not be as valuable as it is when that inspiration comes. All right? When you have the leading to do it, go ahead and do it. Maybe you want to start a business, for instance, and there is someone around you you need to speak to. You know, don't hold it back. If you have the leading to speak to the person, go ahead and do it. Your voice, okay? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, in case you don't know. All right? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, but you may not know that. Okay? Your voice, your own voice, is somebody else's breakthrough. Open your mouth. Speak the truth. Speak it out. The world is waiting for your sound. The world is waiting for your manifestation. The world is waiting for you to let that thing out of you. Especially when you know it's inspiring. Especially when you know it's going to stop someone from maybe committing suicide. Because a lot of people are confused in this generation. They don't even know what to do. And that's why you have a lot of photocopy. We have few originals. A lot of people are duplicates of other people's ideas, of other people's lifestyle, of other people's opinion. But you got a voice. Your voice can shape somebody's destiny forever. What are you waiting for? What are you scared of? Fear has stopped a lot of people from doing so many things, from taking a particular step they need to take. But today, I want to charge you. I want to inspire you. I want to speak to your heart that your voice, there are people today. Let me say this. I think I need to say this because you don't know who is listening to what you're saying. In that meeting, in that gathering, all right, you don't know if your destiny helper is there. Maybe a contribution that you want to make as you're trying to make sense on time, it will give the person by your side, all right, an inspiration, an acumen, okay, to become what they have been planning to be. Your voice might be a witness to what the Spirit is telling them, to what their mind is telling them, to what their instinct is telling them. So speak it out. Stop holding it back. Congratulations, everyone, listening to the sound of my voice right now, because you are a success, going somewhere to happen, a voice that the world will reckon with. And as expectation of a lot of creature is the manifestation of people like you. Go, manifest, voice it out, say it. The truth. You should be known with saying the truth all the time. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
All right, you're welcome back from that heart-to-heart inspirational with Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Hope you're well inspired. At about this time is the newspaper review segment, and we are going to start with the first paper of the day. It's the Daily Trust, and below the nameplate it says here 150 persons died in Kwara camp, Amnesty International. And that read is on page 27 of the Daily Trust. Now on page 14 and 27 again, it says Yaguda joins Gombe governor race, vows to sustain Inua Yahaya's legacy, backs Tinubu's renewed hope. All right, now if you're wondering what that is all about, you have to flip over to 14 and 27 to be well abreast with that particular headline. And on page 26, it says Benga Hashim asks Tinubu, INEC to respect Electoral Act, allow primaries to hold in September. And the star story on the Daily Trust reads, Supreme Court clears path for ADC. Of course, we saw that particular news broke out yesterday. And you have to flip over to page 26, page 3 and 4 on the Daily Trust to be well abreast. And then below that it says Workers' Day, how much work is being done? And that is on page 6. And below that it says PDP BOT assumes leadership after Supreme Court ruling, and that's on page 5. And on page 32 it says 2027 Remi Tinubu visits Kano, Borno, Kaduna in 1 week. And on page 26, it says siblings buried alive as evacuation site collapses in Sokoto. Very sad read there. Evacuation site collapse in Sokoto. Very sad read there. But of course, you have to go out and get yourself the Daily Trust to be well informed on these major issues making rounds. Next, we have The Guardian.
All right. Well, let's take a look at that for you. Quite a sad story there. Two siblings. Top left first, the picture of Professor Joshua Mukbichon, chairman of INEC. It says INEC reaffirms exclusive rights to declare poll results as CSO deploys tracker. The Federal Executive Council approves $2.9 billion rail projects for Lagos, Kano, Kaduna. On news page 3 is where you would find those details. Respect Electoral Act, shift primaries to September, Hashim tells Tinubu INEC. Again, that's on page 3. A big one, clarity and certainty as Supreme Court reshapes opposition ahead of 2027. On page 6, you find pictures of some of the gladiators there. Sani Nassau embark on indefinite strike today. He has been warning now for a few days. Boko Haram threatens to execute 416 captives. They've already given the federal government some sort of preconditions. But then you can read for yourself the details on page 4. All right, Niger local governments record 2 polio cases as Katsina decries gaps in vaccination. Federal government resolves MM2 concession disputes, approves aircraft leasing firm. Worsening cost of living crisis overshadows May Day despite wage increase. Quite an irony of life here.
Yes, it is.
Federal government begins 18-month database modernization ahead of census on news page 8. Incidentally, we've not had census for about 10 years. The last one was 20 years actually. The last one was in 2006. We were supposed to have one at the twilight of the administration of late former President Muhammadu Buhari, but then events overtook it. And now questions are being asked about monies that had already been released for that exercise, and what happens going forward. But beyond all of that debate, Nigeria needs census. We need to have data very clearly in such a way that we can have national planning in perspective. Those are all the headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Please do well to read up details for yourself. It's Friday, so next port of call is Leadership Friday.
All right, now the Leadership Friday, it says beside that on page 45, it says here, Marco Silva confirms Alex Iwobi will miss Asna clash. And then below that it says a manifesto for presidential aspirants. And the Star story reads, Supreme Court throws Mark-led ADC a lifeline, void status quo order. And that's on page 4. And we have about 3 riders there. It says, invalidate Ibadan PDP convention. PDP fractions clash over interpretation of judgment. INEC relists David Mark as ADC national chairman. And still below that, on the Leadership Friday, it says, Tinubu nominates Tegbe as power minister. And that read you will find on page 28. And it says, NISCO activates rationing as Egbin shutdown hits national power supply. That's on page 27. And below that, on page 16, it says, our position on Bauchi State, addressing 28 years of one-zone dominance. And it says here, 2027 Nigerian women rally behind Tinubu. And it says, OPE signs MOU with 4 more schools, expands access to 1.2 billion naira 10-year scholarship program. That's on page 31. And on page 36 it says, security agents intensify search for 9 abducted Kaduna school children. Very sad there. And that's on page 36 on the Leadership Friday. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with the major issues making rounds. Next, we have the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, thank you, Jemai. We go right to the one at the top right of it. It says Tinubu nominates Tegbe as Minister of Power. Well, I had to chuckle because it has to do with power. The other day we were talking about Chief Adebayo Adelabu, who has now resigned to go pursue other aspects of his personal ambition. But now there's a gentleman the president has already nominated. We'll see how much of difference he will bring to the table. Appoints Lanre Babalola as special advisor on power. Those details are on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune today. Bridge linking Kwara Oyo collapses. Ambode backs Hamzat as Lagos APC candidate. Jando withdraws from race. We understand Jando had already bought the 50 million naira APC expression of interests and nomination form, right, for 50 million, yes, of the APC for governorship in Lagos. But now he has withdrawn, apparently to throw his weight behind Hamzat, who is currently the deputy governor of the state. Supreme Court nullifies PDP Ibadan Convention, voice status quo antebellum order on ADC. 3 riders coming with that headline: returns leadership disputes for trial at High Court. Wabara-led BOT says it has assumed leadership of PDP. Supreme Court confirms PDP's unity ends factional crisis. That's Wiki. What more do we have here? Says rethink labor welfare strategy. CPPE urges government. We took our time talking about that at the top of the program this morning. Women mega rally signal movement for participation to power. Minister. AKT workers staged thank you walk for Oyembaji's second term. I shall respond to detractors on June 20, Governor. While ADC are called ZLP, AA, APP should be deregistered, Attorney General tells court. NNPC completes $700 million OB3 gas pipelines River Niger crossing, designed to transport up to 2 billion standard cubic feet of gas per day. It's quite a loaded front page on the Nigerian Tribune today, but please, you will make sense of that by reading up details for yourself so you can stay ahead of fake news. Let's move on next to This Day newspaper.
All right, now This Day newspaper, above the nameplate, it says here, finally, NNPC completes River Niger crossing of 130 kilometer OB3 gas pipeline. And we have some riders there. It says it will boost gas supply, support power generation, says ECBO. And it says Ojulari project will accelerate Nigeria's 12 BSC day targets by 2030. And before we get to the nameplate, it says FEC OK's $2.99 billion light rail project for Lagos, Kaduna, Kano to boost economy, and that's on page 5. And below the nameplate of the paper, it says here, oil price hits $126 per barrel, highest since 2022 as Trump moves fresh Iran options. And it says here, David Mark-led ADC gets a lifeline at Supreme Court, PDP falls. And we have some riders there. It says majority void, PDP Baden convention over disobedience of court. Minority insists its internal affairs outside court's intervention. INEC restores mark, others on website. ADC welcomes judgment, reiterates call for Amupiton's resignation. PDP judgment on leadership crisis is a dangerous bend. Obara says he's assumed party leadership. Wike verdict has ended Turaki fraction. Atiku is a political liability. And basically, those are all the major headlines making rounds on this day newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast. Next, we have Blueprint.
Operational disturbance from the Blueprint, just above the nameplates. Operational disturbance at Egmin cause of reduced power generation. That's according to NISO. Details await you on page 22. Top left, Tinubu nominates policy reform expert Tebe as power minister. NNPCL records breakthrough with River Niger crossing on OB3 gas pipeline project. A bit of sport from the Blueprint front page this morning. Unity Cup tickets on sale for Nigeria versus Zimbabwe tie. And the star headline here reads, Supreme Court returns ADC leadership dispute to Federal High Court. And then we have three more headlines, riders with it. Voids appeal court's antebellum order, nullifies PDP Ibadan convention. Judgment affirms legitimacy of Mark-led excos. That's credited to the spokesperson of the African Democratic Congress, Bolaji Abdullahi. Wike Turaki faction differ on verdicts over PDP crisis. NIS launches Rev 360, marks transition to digital tax administration. Troops killed 201 terrorists, arrested 284 leaders, collaborators in April. That's according to the Defense Headquarters. APC shifts sale of nomination forms submission to Monday, Tuesday. Workers' Day, Oyetola celebrates maritime workers' dedication, resilience. And finally, on the Blueprint front page and at the very foot of it, Katsina APC gives automatic second term tickets to 3 defectors. Yeah, quid pro quo, as they say in Latin. Those are all the headlines we have for you this morning on the Blueprint newspaper. Please look up details, all right, and straighten up on your knowledge of the news. Juma will now walk us through some business headlines from the Business Day.
All right, now Business Day, above the nameplate, it says Nigeria braces for fuel price surge as Brent crude tests $126. And the writer says ex-depot price of diesel hits 1,800 naira per liter. And below the nameplate there, it says stagnant wages leave Nigerian workers trailing peers. And besides that, it says Champion Breweries revenue surge 69% as Bullet acquisition marks new growth phase, and that's on page 23. And moving downwards, it says Joseph Tegbe, the technocrat, stepping into Nigeria's toughest sector. Okay, and basically those are all the Business Day headlines making rounds. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with some of the Business Day issues and be well informed. Next, we have The Punch.
It turns out The Punch newspaper has very scanty headlines this morning. Incidentally, two of them adjacent the name masts here says, first of all, Mayday, NLC, TUC lament rising insecurity, poverty. That is a very nasty combination, insecurity and poverty. The second, airlines struggle as losses hit 150 billion naira in 2 months. We understand part of the problem has been the cost of jets, A1 fuel, that's aviation fuel. Mark-led ADC survives as Supreme Court votes Ibadan PDP convention. PDP thrown into fresh uncertainty as camps clash over verdict. ADC celebrates lifeline, renews pressure to remove INEC boss. Those basically are your headlines from the Punch newspaper today, but you can find this particular story and its details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Let's now move next to the Daily Independent.
All right, now, thank you. Now the Daily Independent, above the nameplate, it says Nigerians struggle to own smartphones as price continues to rise. And below that, on page 8, it reads, stalled negotiations, NASU, SANU begin indefinite strike today. Now below the nameplate of the paper, it says here, opposition chaos. Supreme Court orders ADC retrial as PDP turmoil escalates. And we have about 8 riders here. Yes. And the first one says, voids appeal court status quo at the Belém order on ADC. And it says, nullifies PDP Ibadan convention, dismisses Turaki-led appeal. Judgment leaves PDP without defined leadership, Turaki group. Atiku says, struggle not over yet, welcomes judgment on ADC. Ruling highlights need to preserve democracy, says Hayatuddin. Supreme Court ruling ends PDP fractional crisis, says Wike. APC extends sale of form submission deadline ahead of primaries. And that's on page 29. Then below that it says Tinubu nominates Joseph Tegbe as Minister of Power. And beside that it says FEC approved $2.99 billion for key rail projects in Lagos, Kanu, Kaduna, and that's on page 7. On page 6 it says FG states adopt 112 as Nigerians unified emergency number. And on page 6 again it says breakthrough for Nigeria's gas network as OB3 pipeline crosses River Niger. And it says here stakeholders warn against proposed raw cashew export ban. And at the foot of the Daily Independent it says workers promise renewed hope, received renewed hardship. And that's from the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and that news is on page 6. And if you're wondering what this is all about, go out and get yourself a copy of the Daily Independent and be well abreast with the major issues making rounds. Next is First Daily.
Well, first of all, we have again one just on the nameplates of the paper front page. Campus shutdown looms. That's the kicker. NASU SANU begin indefinite nationwide strike, and we understand that begins at midnight today. What a way to start a new month.
What a way.
Peter Obi warns against borrowing without productivity. Bola Tinubu nominates Tegbe as Power Minister. And then the Star headline reads, PDP rocked, Supreme Court notifies Ibadan Convention. Two riders say Turaki camp ruling has thrown PDP into leadership turmoil. Wike verdict has settled party crisis. Supreme Court affirms David Mark as ADC leader. Troops neutralize 200 terrorists, rescue 188 victims in April, that's according to Defense Headquarters. Amnesty demands probe into alleged death of 150 detainees in Kwara. Ekiti attack, government demand 1 billion ransom after killing pastor. That's gruesome, really. And to think this is even happening in Ekiti State in the first instance, it's more troubling. APC extends form sales to deadline to May 4 and 5. Looks like demand has increased, right? Well, that's a lot of money coming through for the ruling of Progressive Congress. Now, that headline is on the foot of the front page, but then, of course, we encourage you, as always, to read up all the details for yourself as much as you can from the First Daily newspaper today. Our last port of call, the very last paper on the segment, is the New Telegraph.
All right, the New Telegraph, and of course that's the last paper on the newspaper review segment in Global Morning. And above the nameplate it says Solid Minerals. Nigeria loses $8 billion to poor export documentation. And below that it says Pan-African expansions and bank unveils Cote d'Ivoire's subsidiary. And below all of that, on page 4, it says Tinubu asks Carlo to rebuild Abia, APC moves automatic Senate tickets for loyalists. And on page 7, it says 2027, why we consulted Jonathan by Obi, says ex-president wishes Nigeria well. I'm not surprised. And on page 6, it says 2027, Sanwo-Olu backs Hamzat as deputy governor, consults over government ambition. And on page 3, it says here, UTME, why underage candidates are getting no results yet. Notification by JAM, and that's on page 3. And the Star story says, Middle East crisis, TUC pushes 50% tax cut, warns of job losses, workers unrest. And that's on page 2. And we have 2 riders there. It says, oil prices hit 2-week high. Iran foreign minister holds talks in Moscow. And then it reads, this respite as aviation fuel to sell between 1,760 naira and 2,037 naira per liter, FG panel. And it says stakeholders warn of systematic collapse. And that read you will find on page 2 and 6. On page 6 it says 2027, APC again revises timetable for primaries. And then the writer says alleges plots to incite violence in Osun, alerts security agencies. And below that, there's the foreign aspect of the New Telegraph. It says Ramaphosa intervenes as xenophobic attacks in South Africa claims 2 Nigerians, which is very sad. And the writer says FG demands probe, Nigerian community protest. And on page 3 and 27, it says alleged coup plotters trial. Judge bars journalists as court grants accelerated hearing. And the writer says purported forgery, Abuja court dismisses ex-Labour minister Oyeyaucha's application. And on the foot of the New Telegraph, it says researchers uncover hidden genetic process linked to cancer growth, and that's on page 31. And of course, basically that is the size of the newspaper review segment, and that's all on the New Telegraph. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast. And please note that Global Morning Crew, we have no input whatsoever on the newspaper review headlines. It was read to you just as it is. We have no editorial judgment whatsoever. And that brings us to the end of the newspaper review segment. Up next is the first discuss of the day. It's Global Morning. Stay tuned.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all. From the latest trends to the debates, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television. What happens when brilliance is overlooked simply because support is missing? Let's Talk Humanity Initiative invites you to an inspiring private documentary screening that will challenge perspectives and spark action. Titled Seen, Heard, and Included: Technology as a Bridge to Inclusive Education and Empowerment. Join us this Friday, April 24th, 2026 by 10 a.m. For more information, visit our website at www.letstalkhumanityyinitiative.org. You can also join virtually using the link in the bio. Be part of the conversation. Be part of the movement, because inclusion is not optional, it is essential. At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Erojim, walk with confidence, walk with pride.
It is generally the belief now that the two judgments from the Supreme Court yesterday, 30th of April 2026, have now redefined Nigeria's political landscape beyond 2027, especially as it has to do with the opposition as currently constituted in our country. The morning after, as it stands today, is such that we are now wondering what exactly happens in terms of whether or not leadership structures within both the ADC and, of course, the PDP will still have to deal with the same challenges that got them to the courts, starting from the Federal High Court in the first instance. So the part of the ADC in particular, it is a weekend filled with merriment, giving the, if you like, jubilation that started right on the premises of the courts yesterday, given that the court again has now said, look, the leadership of Senator David Mark should be reinstated, and as such, the ante-bellum, or if you like, the status quo ante-bellum order or issues around that element should all be returned to the Federal High Court, which incidentally is the court of first instance. In the meantime, going forward, it is expected that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as quickly as possible, will reinstate the ADC, of course, with David Mark being the national leader of that party. This morning we're joined by someone who is an active member, even though we are not so sure how active he is now in the ruling All Progressives Congress, but is also optimistic about the success and victory of the opposition in 2027. Alhaji Jamil Usman joins us this morning on the program. We'd like to say a big thank you to you. I know you'd like me to call you young Alhaji, but you're not so young now.
Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Mr. Wee. Good morning, Madam Jomai. It's my pleasure to be here this morning.
I want us to start from this. I know you have a lot you want to say on the program this morning.
Yes.
But let us put this in context.
Yes.
We are no longer where we used to be regarding opposition politics in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
On account of yesterday's verdict. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I'm so impressed for Supreme Court judgment because number one, we need to do politics and politicking. We cannot practice one-party system in Nigeria. It doesn't happen in the country of the world. In America, they have a Democrat and a Republican to checkmate each and one of them if other party is going astray. Like I said a few days ago that Supreme Court is going to pass judgment in favor of ADC. One, people that in ADC, they are very learning and competent. They are politicians. The good, the bad, the ugly is in ADC. Likewise, APC. You know, when you are doing politics, you need to do politicking because life is a positive. When you take a positive, think negative aspect of it. The Supreme Court that passed the judgment, if you listen to the judge, very excellent and very perfectly. It's just like we're in a country where if someone gets a privilege, he wants to oppress others, which is not done because power belongs to God. And my happiness is that let ADC checkmate into APC activities so that they can sit up. A lot of things have went wrong in APC. So automatically, the INEC is working instruction of presidency. So he cannot do more than himself because somebody appointed him there. He doesn't know that he have to play safe and play smart. And to my surprise, he's a former appeal court judge, which is he knows the intrigues of politics. He have passed through those processes. For my surprise, to remove the David Mark and Lebeshora from the party as a chairman and secretary. But well, you see, if Mr. President is doing well, the jubilation that going on yesterday could not happen. But for you to know that yesterday that we elected new president, mark my word, today is 30th, Friday.
Today is 1st of May.
Today is 1st May. Mark my word, APC is going to take over the leadership of this country. We have established.
You mean APC or ADC?
Sorry, ADC is going to take leadership of this country coming 2027.
So it is your prediction that the APC will lose in 2027?
APC is already started losing.
Your own party?
Mr. Wee, if my party is not performing better, automatically we have to check another party.
But have you left the APC? When we have told by now, we have left the APC and moved to...
It's Wike left BDP.
And so is it the Wike model you're following?
Wike have taught us how to do politics, and we have done this. This is what we know how to do best. Because Wike cannot be in the PDP and supporting APC. Automatically, we have so many people who like ADC. Like me, on what I passed through, like I said, APC is my party. I'll be in the same APC, automatically I'll work for ADC. The reason is there. In 2023, I spent my money. In short, I could meet so many people. Transportation, hotel bills, so many things I contributed. What is my reward today in the party?
You know, someone who is listening to you, right now will say, why would you be in a political party and then you work for another political party? Does it mean that you're not loyal enough, or you do not believe in the mandate of your own party or what it brings, what it carries to the table?
Madam Jumai, if my party is performing better, I'm going to support my party up to tomorrow. But my party is not performing because we cannot even see our president to talk to him. Those sacrifices who is around him are brainwashing Mr. President.
Isn't it better you leave the party and go to the party which you're more comfortable with?
No, because I'm not the first person that been in one party to work for another party.
You can be an example.
No, I cannot be an example because we already have an example. Who is an example? And many others.
No, I mean you as an example, leaving completely, joining the party where your heart is.
No, the problem is this. You have to check, you weigh it before you take a decision.
That means one
it's
leg
not,
in and
yes,
one leg
it's
out.
not too late.
No, that means one leg in and one leg out.
No, don't put word into my mouth,
How
madam.
is it saying? That's what I'm saying. That's what you're saying now.
No.
One leg in and one leg out.
We have seen someone.
You can be in APC, you can be in PDP. APC, your party is doing well, you fall back to your party. ADC is doing well, since you have support for them, you fall back. So that is what it means.
If you listen to my explanation,
Okay.
Wike FCT minister is still in PDP up to tomorrow. He's dragging PDP to court here and there. And he's working for APC. And he get appointment from APC. So what does that mean? So automatically, if I now emulate him to do the same, I have not go astray. Because one, the party that I work for is not performing. There's nothing. A good politician is what you put to table and what you use to campaign. There's no project that Mr. President said that, I have done this project commissioning in this place. I've did no single project. The only project we have is borrowing and manipulating Nigerian over 20 million and put us in tax that we don't expected. Is this a project? And many more, and nepotism. So there's nothing. The truth have to be told. Because the more you are hiding it, the more he can do more. I am the best friend of Mr. President today because I come out in a public to express what millions of Nigerian people feel. Because they don't have privilege to voice out. My voice can go out so that to get to him, for him to sit well. But if it's not too late for him, because there's no any project you can execute from now to 2027 you want to commission. Now,
how about the coastal highway? Let's talk a bit about that.
The coastal highway I'm talking about is very funny. It's unfortunate that if you are a median, you are well informed. This coastal highway cost about 16 trillion without due process. Without due process, no procurement document. He just used power of presidency to start that coastal highway. As I'm talking to you today, the coastal highway have validated up to three times or more. You know what I mean by validated?
Do you have facts, figures to prove?
Allegedly, it's a public domain. It's a public domain. The coastal highway allegedly have validated more than 3 times.
Allegedly, you say?
Yes, validated more than 3 times. Because I'm not there when they are validated, but the information get to me that they have validated the coastal highway more than 3 times. That is why part of the borrowing of the money. Example, the recent money they borrow about $570 million that Sokoto
$560 million.
$60 million.
Yes.
Sokoto this thing. How many times are they going to award of that Sokoto? That is part of validation. 2026 budget about 28 point something million is recycling of our debt. It cannot do anything. So if Mr. President is borrowing and is making use of it legitimately, we are not We don't have right to complain. But Mr. Bo, where this money is going to, nobody can account for it. But they seem to understand one thing. You plan. God plan supersede every plan. So we have established in 2015 that any president who is not performing better, he can easily remove. He will be a second person to remove. The other person who is coming up, you have to sit up. This is how Nigeria can get it right. Because 4 years is not enough for you to sanitize Nigeria, to stabilize Nigeria. So any president we elected is not performing better, you know that you have one tenure. Automatically, and Mr. President said it, if I'm not giving you power and more, don't elect me coming 2027. Full stop. We are working on instruction. This is not issue of anti-party.
I want us to again look at the Supreme Court judgments now. Do you see a situation where INEC will probably say, look, we are still studying the judgment, or we've not been sent CTC, that is certified true copies of the judgment, or we still go back to a situation where we have ambiguity around yesterday's judgment from the Supreme Court? Because what we had seen before was the issue of definition of status quo antebellum. Should we go back to when it was Gombe that was the chairman? Should we go back to when David Mark was the chairman? And so on and so forth. My question to you is, do you see any conflict on the side of INEC regarding yesterday's Supreme Court judgment?
Thank you, Mr. Wee. If we check it now, if we go to Google now, INEC have already installed the David Mark and Lebeshola as legitimate
on the official website.
On your official website, go there now. So INEC cannot do that because they cannot take law into their hands. Let me be frank with you. INEC caused so many issues in Democrats. 50% of the problem the politicians are having is caused by INEC. So automatically, INEC chairman cannot take law into his hand because he knows the law. He have already put their name. So this is not the issue of a dragon. It is the Supreme Court supersede all the other courts. So you cannot breach of trust. That's all.
You know, ADC is hammering on the fact that they do not feel that the INEC chairman, Josh Amukuto, is credible enough to be on that particular seat. What's your take on that? Do you think he should be removed as INEC chairman, or we should allow him to perform his professional rights as INEC chairman in what he does?
If I have my way, INEC chairman have to remove and dismiss because it's not competent. His antecedent is not clear. When you know his biography, how he have been doing when he was in the judiciary, up to appeal court, his record is not straight.
Isn't that why he should be the INEC chairman, because he knows the rights?
Because no, they brought him in the name of nepotism, not in the name to come and do INEC work. That is nepotism is answerable to our Mr. President. That's all. INEC chairman is not competent. He doesn't know what he's doing. So if I have my way, I have to remove the INEC chairman and brought in another person. We have so much people competent. Because one, Omopito, the INEC chairman, he knows the law. He still breach of the law. So tell me, who is deceiving who? So automatically, all his plan is going to fail. Because Nigeria are playing. Nigeria on its own prayer to salvage us from those wolves who is around the country and turn country up and down without anything in food. So there's nothing someone can tell me today that INEC chairman is not biased. It's 100 over 100 biased. But at the end of the tunnel, he will regret and disgrace himself. No one will disgrace him. He will disgrace himself. The same way that our president is starting disgracing himself now. Because if I think all the time, if I sleep all the time, is it President Tinubu is this? I'm not surprised because when Tinubu was governor of Lagos State back then, he changed deputy governor 3 times.
Because he wanted people that could walk side by side with him.
No, because he want everybody to be in the same page with him, whether wrong or good, that's not Democrat. Because you have your opinion. That is why we elected governor and deputy governor to checkmate one another. Before decision make, call your deputy governor and the speaker and sit down, the Secretary of the State, this is my intention. What do you people say? Nobody know all.
You know what, let's tilt towards the Supreme Court judgment of yesterday, the one that happened yesterday, the one
Yes.
that you predicted. Do you think this will actually solve the internal crisis of the ADC moving forward from all of this? Or this is just one of the still more to come?
Yeah, Madam Jumai, let me tell you something. In politics, everybody have their own interest. If your interest is not taken care of, if you have your way to destabilize, you can destabilize. But the people who come together to form ADC, they are well understand the Nigerian politics.
But someone will beg to differ, Mr. Osman. Sorry to cut you in. Someone will say the ADC, they're not well structured. They just have big names. They're not well put together. They're not the opposition that we think they can stand head on with the APC.
Madam Jumai, let me ask you one question. About 2 years ago, did you hear about ADC?
No.
About 1 year ago, did you hear about ADC? What is structure?
No.
Structure is a people can make structure. People come together to create structure. ADC come together, they have already created structure. So what other structure do you want to know? The party is already exploded.
A lot of
The whole 36 state know that there's ADC. The whole world know that there's ADC. What is structure that more than that? It is left for you that if someone is sick, you say, can I go to National Hospital, or I should go to Garki Hospital, I should go to Abuja Clinic? You have to seek advice and opinion. Someone tells you, I don't know, go to Abuja Clinic or go to your Garki Hospital. They'll give you can get what you want. So those that feel betrayed, they can get what they want in ADC. That's number one. Number two, yes, something good. People come and look for it. ADC have presidential, they are good for primary, and everyone will contest primary, whether presidential or governorship or senate or house of rep. Then whoever emerge as a ticket owner, other people work with him. That's all. Like when people fly Obi. We are in this country right now, and we are much well informed that till good times now, the Southeast, their election, their vote is not count because they did not support President Buhari, blessed memory, 2 times. Tinubu did not support him 2 times. We still make a president that govern a country. If Peter Obi is a smart politician, let him come and join. Contest primary. If you did not win primary, lobby for vice president. The more you close to cup, the more you can use the cup to fetch water. That is all. So if he decide that, okay, you want to go and form, you want to go to another party, he's good luck. But the movement is going on now, Obi cannot stop it. Not even Amechi or Kokoso. Obi only tackle Southeast. Kokoso hold an only candle. So I think Abubakar is the mafia, is the short, how can I use it? I think Abubakar is capable to get vote from 6 geopolitical zone without any stress. So it's not by fight, it is by antecedent. What you have done so far in your past regime. That's all.
So you are not, you're not taking into cognizance, at least on a very serious note, the rotational presidency system that we've been following for a while now.
Yes, rotational system is not in Nigerian constitution. It is verbal agreement and understanding.
But it has wedged the country together for a long time.
Yes, because number one, the party in ADC right now, ADC, they are going to zone president. That is the party constitution. Party constitution is different Nigerian constitution. Because those people that are contesting now, they want to move to anywhere now. They are working on Nigerian constitution. No any president have ever passed the bill to National Assembly to be rotation of presidency. South, Southeast, Southwest, North Central, Northeast, and Northwest. No. there are 6 geopolitical zones. So we are not practicing one party system. So any party that comes, you have to say, okay, I'm going to support you. What is my take? It is left for the people, executive, the BOT, to sit down to design how we are going to be using our party, govern our party without any sentiment. That is why the primary in 2003, not only Tinubu contest election, Yabilo contest election, former Snape Kenya Mani contested primary, Yabilo contested primary. So some people stepped down for Tinubu, some did not step down. Rochans, Yabilo, and others did not step down. So Tinubu emerged as ticket owner. That is why today is a president. So if ADC today, everybody go to primary, whoever emerge as a ticket owner of ADC, then they flag up the campaign. Very simple.
I want us to talk about issues, just before Jumai jumps right back in. Let's talk about issues that led to all of these, these litany of litigations in the first instance within political parties, which today we refer to as internal conflict within the parties themselves. Obaseki, for example, in those states leading up to the 2020 election, which was supposed to be his re-election at that point in time, also had an issue with former Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole. You go to Kaduna State, for example, today, Ubasani, the incumbent governor, and his predecessor, a man largely and widely referred to as his political benefactor, some people say his political godfather, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, both gentlemen do not see eye to eye, politically speaking. Of course, Ubasani is a loyal boy to President Bola Tinubu, is a staunch member of the APC. On the other hand, Malam Nasir El-Rufai is now a member of the ADC. In fact, I dare say a leader in the ADC, even in the face of all of the turbulence that he's dealing with right now, the hands of law enforcement. When you look at all of this, does it not show to you that political party leaders have to be more responsible individually and collectively?
Thank you, Mr. Wee. Let me take you back to Edo. You asked the question. Obaseki and Adams Oshiomhole, who have conflict, at the end of the day, who lose? Obaseki lose. Because one, betraying a party is a very difficult task, a very serious task. Obaseki betrayed Adams Oshiomhole. At the end of the day, Oshiomhole have to have patience to deal with him in his own understanding way. The reason why Oshiomhole can have the privilege to do that is because of his antecedent. He worked in Edo, he give what Edo want. Then it's not by fight. Then Edo people love Adams Oshiomhole. For that, it will be very easy for him to overcome whatever the situation in Edo. That's where they are today. That is the answer. Come back to Kaduna State. It is just unfortunately. In the Bible, in Quran, in my own Quran, Prophet Yusuf, his own brother, betrayed him and pushed him to where is in Bible. Obasani is unfortunate human being, ungrateful human being. The governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, he adopted Obasani as his houseboy, an errand boy, sending him message.
You mean domestic staff?
Yes, the present governor of Kaduna State adore him, accept him, then working for him. When El-Rufai graduated from Ahmadu Bello University with quantity survey, he's a first-class student. He started his own practicing. El-Rufai is already a billionaire before they now appointed him as a DG of BPE, Benin Public of Enterprise. Then Obasani was his PA, sending him errand up and down, just like his son. Secondly, when El-Rufai was appointed as a minister of FCT, then El-Rufai made Obasani as his chief of staff, to close to him, to teach him how to catch fish, not me to catch fish and give to you, and culture him. He was learning faster from Nasir El-Rufai. It is unfortunately when President Olusegun Obasanjo, Median, Fani Kayode was sacked as a median. Then the median to president, the median office of president is now vacant. Nobody can operate it. Minister of National El-Rufai, then you have to approach Mr. President. I have a competent boy who can be able to take it off of your media. Then that's how you push Obasani to be an SA median to Obasanjo to replace Fani Kayode. Then El-Rufai is the one that writes script for him, build him before he delivers any publicity in media. El-Rufai, in fact, El-Rufai treated him beyond reasonable doubt. Unfortunately, the same Obasani now betrayed El-Rufai, because it is still my surprise how on earth Obasani can be able to act with all the Madam Nasir El-Rufai have done for you. When El-Rufai is in his first tenure as a Kaduna State governor, he made Obasani as his chief of staff to the governor. Then, when El-Rufai returned second time, because Sheikh Usani and El-Rufai has conflict, why? El-Rufai secured money loan to develop Kaduna State. Sheikh Usani refused to approve it and giving El-Rufai problem in national level. Automatically, El-Rufai said, I cannot return Sheikh Usani as a senator because he doesn't want Kaduna people to develop. Even Sheikh Usani went to late President Muhammadu Buhari. Governor Nasir El-Rufai explained to President Muhammadu Buhari, see what I've done so far in my state. Look at this loan that I needed to, upgrade my state, to transform my state. At the end of the day, El-Rufai cannot be able to secure that loan. Then El-Rufai said, there's no problem. The second time, you have to push Obasani. Obasani come and replace Sheikh Usani. Then that's how Obasani now becomes senator. The same person. Then, when El-Rufai complete his 2 tenure, El-Rufai now look left and right. He said, this boy, the way he respects me, he doesn't know that he's an hypocrite, he's a pretender. He pretends. Human being is very difficult. That is why in my own religion, God said the devil is close to you more than anybody in Quran. So El-Rufai now made him as a governor. In short, the same Sheikh Usani work against El-Rufai, support PDP. He's already joined PDP. Support PDP to work against election that brought Obasani as executive governor. It is by Almighty God that Obasani now succeeded to be a executive governor of Kaduna State. Then, whatever happened between you and Madam Nasir El-Rufai, this is a family matters. Nobody can call you to order because you said presidency are giving you pressure to probe him, because this man is doing what is right. It's because he's fighting with government. They should do what is right to Nigeria. This is not what they promised Nigeria. Then that is why the Nasir El-Rufai offended government. Nasir El-Rufai did not do anything wrong. For case study of Yahya Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, Governor Usman Ododo had capacity to push Yahya Bello out, to betray Yahya Bello. President give him pressure, bring this man to book, but still he maneuvered it, begging presidency. He needs soft landing. So that is why I respect Governor Usman Ododo, the executive governor of Kogi State, because of this act of not betraying Yahya Bello, and I have respect for him up to tomorrow. But look at where we are. Obasani believed that he's now executive governor, and all these documents that brought him to EFCC, and they should check, they should prove Madam Nasir El-Rufai is part of the document. It's part of the document. Just like an example, when Atiku and Obasanjo have conflict, then EFCC checkmate all Atiku's activities, all financial activities. Automatically, President Obasanjo signed Atiku signed. So there's nothing you can prove. You can prove presidency and prove Atiku. That is why Atiku scored free. And Obasanjo never believed that he has signature to so many documents. Because today, Madam Nasiru El-Rufai is not in power. You are now executive governor. Then you can betray the same person you call your father on your speech. You say El-Rufai is not my boy, is not my mentor, is my father. Then the same pattern you betray as your father, when El-Rufai is in crisis, you know his mother is ill. He took his wife to Egypt. Then, after his mother passed on, you now come as greeting the same person. It is unfortunately that God is not a God that's sleeping. God is watching all our activities.
But sorry, I think we're dealing with what Chimamanda Adichie would call the problem of a single story here. It's a case you are telling the story essentially from the side of Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. We have not heard, whether directly or by proxy, from the side of the governor himself, talking about Governor Obasani now. But my question to you is it not possible, because this is something trying to enter the mind of any of the two gentlemen, is it not possible that once Governor Obasani realized that Nasiru El-Rufai was turning against Bola Tinubu all of a sudden, he probably out of conscience, out of being ethically minded, told himself that I can't go this path with you. I don't disagree with you on any matter, but on this one, I'm not with you. Because questions have also been asked about, hold on a second, how come all of a sudden the same El-Rufai that was with the then candidate Tinubu, now the president the whole time, is now becoming, as it were, antagonistic? They say, well, it's possible it's because he was not, screened by the Senate to become a minister. Are those allegations, as hefty as they are, not also possibly true?
Mr. Uyi, let me make it clear. If you watch the period of campaign of APC, Mr. President visited Kaduna. He said, before I climb podium, I want Madam Nasiru El-Rufai to accept he's going to work with me. If not, I will not climb this podium. That he should not traveling to go and study again because he likes book. He stand there up to 5 minutes before El-Rufai now say, accept, I'm going to work with you, with sincerely. Because without El-Rufai, God used El-Rufai to make President Bola Tinubu to succeed as a president. He's the only governor who crashed with Elder State in North when people say they don't want it from North. El-Rufai have to speak, I'm part of the Elder State man. So I'm above 60 years. Anything that is going to happen in North now, I'm supposed to be part of it. This is passing that we have agreement. And the Muslim from West, these are the people that gathered to approach Nasiru El-Rufai to beg him, President Tinubu send them to Nasiru El-Rufai before El-Rufai now accepted, okay, I'm going to work for you. Go and ask. I'm not giving you story. This is reality. I'm part of the APC system. I'm not giving you allegedly. Then the same person told Mr. President, I cannot go back to FCT. I don't repeat class, but I'm going to tackle power and gas, because without gas, power cannot work. The game they play over there, the time of crisis, we are looking for money. I'm sure Tinubu get his way to get money from UBA. Because as I'm talking to you today, Tolu Elumelu is the MD CEO of Power.
How is that? Because he has stake in the distribution network?
Yes, he has, because.
But he's not the only one that has that. We have those discos.
Those people, because he has over 50 to 60% of power. It's not allegedly. So for that, they know Nasiru El-Rufai is a talk and do. He's going to make sure that he put power in order. It is a power tussle within the cabal who believe El-Rufai is too smart, is too brilliant, is going to be their problem. They have to gang against him. And unfortunately, they use Obasani, who called Nasiru El-Rufai that is his father. So automatically, Obasani can betray anybody in this world except his stomach. So that act that act is a bad act. So we have to learn from example. Those who betray, how they end it. Those who know how to betray, how they end it. We said now that Mr. President has betrayed us, giving appointment to 95% of appointment, they are from Southwest. Not even Omoluabi or Monile. And we are complaining now that I work for party don't recognize me. It's part of betrayal. So automatically, the extent that Obasani have took in issue of El-Rufai is dangerous. Meaning, if he have opportunity, he can silence El-Rufai. So automatically, this act, this is my complaint, is a bad act. Mr. It can happen to you that as you are working in this organization now, your close island, someone that close to you more, he can able to fuck it down.
No, you have to
so he can to bring. I don't want to say, but he can to bring you down. How do you feel it when you discover that my friend is going to bring me down? The person I trust most, betrayal, they always end it in vain. So that is my stake, because one, we have to be honest to ourselves when we are talking. And everything I'm saying now, Obasanjo does not have anything to say or to defend himself, because this is an open book. This man picked you from nowhere, transformed you, made you what you are today. What you need to do for you to slap him? Why can't you beg presidency that my governor is angry, my governor is not happy? This is really within my governor. Please, Mr. President, for me to close to you now, for us to succeed 2027 as Kaduna, I want you to carry him along. Talk to him. This is how a matured man, a gentleman can be able to play game. Not because of their opportunity. Then Mr. President give me order. How many people Mr. President give Governor Ododo Usman order, but Mr. Usman Ododo lead them and beg Mr. President, please, this is my boss. You're like a father to me. I cannot do this. At the end of the day, President listened to him. Do you think that Mr. President will trust Obasani? No. Because he knows that the message, what he just done to his boss now, he can well return it back to him. So this is where we're hiding. This is what we're talking about.
So this is a situation of biting the finger that fed you.
Yes.
When you help someone and the person turns around and betrays you. But do you think that he felt, just like the case of Siminalayi Fubara and the FCT minister, let's take us back, where they always said that the FCT minister did not want to give Siminalayi Fubara that free will to perform in his own rights or do things on his own, even when he is a predecessor, he still wants to ensure that his voice is heard, not giving him that leverage to do things on his own. Do you think it's not a case of that? No. Because since Governor Obasani emerged as a governor of Kaduna State, no interference, I mean. No, Governor Obasani, since I emerged as a Kaduna State governor, El-Rufai have not stepped to his office. Go and ask. El-Rufai said that I'm going to allow you to do whatever you want to do as the executive governor. El-Rufai, I'm not even calling for one dime meeting or a minute of meeting. No, El-Rufai is someone that if he give you job, all he wants is for you to deliver. When he was in FCT, he's a Mr. Project. He deliver. He make Abuja to be living today. Without El-Rufai, Abuja could have more than DJ like Ajegule. Today, the same Abuja have to, we can have to return Abuja to Ajegule, because look at garden, the green area is giving people to be building on top. Those things go to reverse back, because Abuja has master plan. Come to the issue of Fubara. Like Obasani of Kaduna State, is not coming back. May God give us long life to witness it. Obasani is OTP, one-time governor. The same with Fubara. Those who specialize in betraying, they always end it in vain. There's not true about it. So El-Rufai is someone that does not even, since he handed over to Governor Obasani in Kaduna State, El-Rufai have not stepped his foot to Obasani office or his house. No, he doesn't. El-Rufai is not even in the country. He's not even in the country.
He's always in Egypt or US. He's traveling. He's busy consulting. He has so many things. His hand is full for project. So it's not El-Rufai is not that kind of person. El-Rufai is intelligent person, integrative human being. That is why he doesn't take nonsense from anybody. If you don't want him to work with you, he will stay away from you. So it is my surprise the action of Obasani. He need to call people, the scholars, for forgiveness. When El-Rufai lost his mother, El-Rufai's mother is so much close to El-Rufai, he took his mother to Egypt for hospital. Then on his way coming back before the arrest, the same person that you have not seen since you take over office as executive governor, you don't talk to him, you are fighting him, you are now going to burial ground to go and greet him with handshaking. Oh my God, this is a hypocrisy of highest order.
But is that not, I mean, if you were to go by your own narrative of hypocrisy, is that not the same thing that is prevalent across all the political parties in Nigeria? No. And is that ultimately not one of the problems that we have as a country today?
No. This case of Obasani and Nasir El-Rufai is different entirely. It's different. Because you cannot engineer it to go and fight your boss, somebody who give you life. Let me give one story, Mr. Wee.
I thought it was God that gave him life. Was he?
No, yes, God gave him life, but somebody who transform you for you to be breathing, that help you for you to be breathing.
Right.
Without Nasir El-Rufai, who is Obasani? Nasir El-Rufai family, Almighty God bless them. They have Alhaji Bashir El-Rufai, is a multi-billionaire, is into communication. They have generals. Obasani, Nasir El-Rufai pick Obasani from his family. Only he after Obasani, who can you call his family? So this is a case, this is a different case. Let me flash you back in one history. Late Sadona, blessed memory. Who killed him? His adopted son, Ejobo, that lead the coup to know where he is to go and kill him. Is not heights of betrayal? I don't expect a good Muslim to should betray another good Muslim. You can't even betray anybody. Like someone like me, I pray in my life, if Almighty God give me privilege, there's no way I can bite the finger that feed me. It's not nice. Because you feel the pain too. You may be doing it, he's treating you, I've dealt with him. But when Almighty God want to give you the contribution, in return, you hate being alive.
Well, let me ask you, because you know there are some people that might offend you and they don't feel as if they're doing anything wrong. Do you think the governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, do you think he understands that he has offended his predecessor?
Madam Jumai, this issue is a public domain. I give you power. All my documents, you now bring it out, say that I eat money, I do this, I did that. So this is a public domain. So if you did not realize that you have offended Nasir El-Rufai, why Nasir El-Rufai is in the hand of ICPC? Is ICPC a security agent? Is IPC DSS or police?
The ICPC is an anti-graft agency.
That's what I'm telling you. Because number one, Obasani tried to scratch where there's nothing, so they can bring anything so they can be to prosecute him. And automatically, they are still investigating up till how many months for you to investigate somebody and prosecute him, whether he's guilty or not. We are in a country where law is not working. If law is working, we don't need, all those things couldn't happen. But automatically, but Nigeria will be better by the grace of God. That's my prayer. Because it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody. You have to aware of whom you deal with. You have to aware of whom you give power to. It's not the same. It's not the same issue of money that said my former governor of Kogi State that siphoned a lot of money. But His Excellency Governor Ododo still plead with federal government, with the presidency. Please, I cannot do this. That is what we call integrity. I respect Governor Ododo on this single act.
Even when the money allegedly siphoned belongs to the people?
Number one, if you're working in public office, many people can be eating money and you are going to take the cross because you are the number one leader. So automatically, all was mopped up that Yabilo eat, not all Yabilo eat. Yes, Yabilo eat money, but Yabilo is good so many projects in Kogi State. He built hospital, he do so many things. Yeah, he cannot perfect on his own way, but he has tried his capacity. He do infrastructure, he built 2 universities at once, West and Central, functioning. He built head over to 12 local government and infrastructure. He have done marvelous job. But in the other hand, he may fail in the other side. Nobody is perfect except God. On this cardinal matter, is a different time. It's not the same thing. What if I do betray Bello? What could have happened? Nothing. But at the end of the tunnel, he will regret it. And he realizes what I've done. I've hit myself.
All right, incidentally, that's the much that we'll be able to take on this conversation, everyone. But I'd like to say a big thank you to you, young Alaji, Jamil Usman, APC chieftain and advocate of good governance, for coming to share with us this Workers' Day.
Thank you. You're welcome, Mr. Uyi and Madam Jumaye. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Thank you.
All right, great. It's May 1st, it's Workers' Day, and of course, we're commemorating that in Nigeria. We're going to just give you some insights into how that commemoration is going, and behind that, we'll bring you a second conversation on the program this morning. Do stay with us, everyone. Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global.
Apparently, it's Workers' Day, and that's exactly what the entire day is all about. The issues of workers being spotlighted at this point in time. We're going to find several events organized around the commemoration across the country today. And of course, politicians will also latch on these, as it were, trend to push certain narratives, and governors would as always, seize the occasion to highlight some of the things that you've done for workers. There are those who have actually done upward review of salaries for workers across some states. There are those who have set up some schemes, housing, support for children of civil servants. There are others who have initiatives that they've also rolled out. So this would be an opportunity for them to spotlight those ideas and resources. However, the irony of it all is the more we think we've done for workers in this country, the wider the gap just becomes.
Exactly. The wider, I like how you ended it, the wider the gap just becomes. And the thing is, a lot is ongoing. As we can see, this particular display that has to do...
The Federal Secretariat in Abuja?
Exactly, displaying that it's Labor Day, Workers' Day. Workers, for as much as things might not be going as it ought to, they should be celebrated. They actually put on most of the quota of workforce in the country, and they actually do so much. And at the same time, we might not be where we ought to be as workers.
Right.
And that is why we have so many jackpot syndrome with lots of people, because they feel that there are more greener pastures outside. Workers should be, for as much as the money is good, but giving us that honor and privilege, and don't kick us aside. And when we bring up a particular issue, you're in line and you understand what we're talking about and what we're going through. You actually resonate with us. You feel our impact. You feel the pain. You feel the excitement. So as much as all of this, it's here, but most especially the money is very important. That has been a major issue. We read one of the headlines that for as much as there has been increments in wages, yet it's taking a toll on the livelihood of individuals, because most people cannot afford to feed, cannot afford to transport fare, cannot afford it. It's taking a toll. And a lot of workers are going through, like, may God bless our hustle. Exactly, it's like what we just saw now. Of course, it's only God that can bless the hustle, because people are really going through a lot when it comes to this issue. Well, hopefully the needful is done. May 1st is a day that must be celebrated. Workers have to be given that honor, for as much as we're not getting when it comes to remuneration, but at the same time, honor must be given. It's very important.
Incidentally, so much of setup has been done here. Looks
so
like
much.
A big party, so to say, coming up around the Federal Secretariat here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. So shortly, things will begin to jump off, and then, of course, talking points will also come through. Global Television will follow through and bring you basically the news from all of these. Of course, you can expect similar events across the country today, but again, we need to also ask ourselves, why is it that workers often want to go on strike? We are hearing now, for example, that the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Students, of course, as well as the non-academic staff of Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, they are also talking about starting the strike by midnight today, which is effectively in the wee hours of tomorrow. So you can imagine what happens in the days and weeks ahead if the federal government and, of course, the leadership of these unions do not come to a dialogue and ultimately find a resolution. Because beyond all of these, we must realize that the workforce itself plays a pivotal role in our national development. If we therefore live in denial or just honestly become naive about issues that affect them, we will have to pay a very big price, in the voice of Donald Trump, for that sort of act. But we do hope that government across board, whether local, state or federal, will now more than ever before see the lacuna, as lawyers say, that we have in the welfare system for our workers in this country. Maybe we should pretend like the private sector does not matter for a second, but for today, let's pay attention to those in the public service, because at least ideally, they are there to serve the interest of citizens and, by extension, contribute their own quota to national development. Just this week, for example, we saw news around the police trust fund. A bill that's now in front of the National Assembly, we understand, has succeeded or passed through second reading. This is what the issues we're looking at. So wherever we need Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
At Wichtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Well, let's get the second conversation on the road for you now, everyone. Women in politics has been a huge conversation in our country, especially in recent times. In the world where they say, well, politics is more of a gender-specific, if you like, activity. The question of what the role of women should ideally be and in what specific ways they can contribute to national development is the focus of our conversation on the program this morning, and we're joined by no other person than Edna Azura, who is the President of the National Council of Women's Societies. Nigeria, to help us understand how women can, beyond partisanship and being women leaders, also contribute to conversations and initiatives that drive good governance in a country like Nigeria, where you have so much of complexity regarding the political structure. And beyond that, look at how young girls or ladies can be better mentored to take over the mantle at some point in time when that need for transition arises. However, right in front of us is the 2027 general election. We're seeing women say they can do better, they should be given more prominence, and of course visibility. But are they putting their best foot forward in this regard? That's one of the questions we are asking this morning. And again, we're delighted to be joined by Edna Zura, National President of the National Council of Women's Societies. Nigeria. Good to have you on the program with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And so, Juma, engage you for the next couple of minutes to help you. So you help us to find some sense in sort of the ambiguity regarding women's participation in our political process. I'd like us to first of all talk about what inclusion should be like in an ideal situation regarding Nigeria's democracy.
Inclusion simply means everybody is included, both gender, young and old.
But it is, I'm not so sure if that's the situation we're dealing with right now in Nigeria. Why is it that we still see women protesting? I mean, you and your team led a protest just this week, for example. Talk to us about the the rationale behind that.
You see, over the years, we've been looking for this inclusion as women gender in Nigeria. But you saw what happened during the 9th Assembly. All what we brought was rejected, and so we sat and thought, and we came up with the special seat bill for women. This is a special seat. This special bill seat for women will not tamper with the present setting of the National Assembly, nor the State Assembly. It's just a special bill set aside for women so that there will be inclusion, because there has not been inclusion over the years. Right now we are less than 5% representation in the National Assembly, and in the 36 states there are 15 states that have no single woman in their National Assembly. And just to x-ray it, in the Senate we have 109 senators with only 4 female senators. In the House of Representatives we have 360 members without 17 women. So this is certainly underrepresentation. That is, we are talking about inclusion. Let the women be part. After all, we are half the population of Nigeria. So if democracy is for the people, for every one of us, why should the female gender not be part of what is happening at the national discourse, in the governance and in the political setting in the country?
You know, that issue of special seat for women, I mean, some people say, well, it's a step in the right direction. But I want us to now talk about 2027 general election proper. Do you think women are getting their voices heard, or you think do you still have a bunch of those factors that drown the voices of women during electioneering period like this?
Yeah, as I said earlier, things are getting better. And this initiative to come up with the special seat bill for women have also strengthened the women folk, because the number of women vying for elective positions this time has far doubled what was happening before, because women have come out in their numbers. I think in Plateau State alone we have about 73 women vying for different positions. In the APC alone we have about 300 women vying for positions, and so it is all over the states. But as you rightly said, the political parties, I think they are the major people that will strengthen these true reforms. Because right from the onset, the political parties give the women only the position of the woman leader. And so that follows strictly also even to the elections. The women aspirants will just be kept aside because right from the start they are not represented because they don't have a voice to talk on them. So we've been talking to the political parties to include women in their local escorts, either at the national, at the state, and at every level. And that will give us another headway as to how women can come in. And I think this season again is better off than what was happening before, and because of the special seat bill and because there is a little bit of inclusion even in the political parties, women came out aspiring for different positions. Remember, the political parties are the gatekeepers of leadership in Nigeria. So everything is settled on them, and I believe there will be changes because we've been visiting them, we've been talking to them as well.
In all of this, I'm a woman, but of course you are in better limelight because you have been part and parcel of this particular fund. Now, what are the major barriers that hinder women being in politics?
One of it is our natural, our cultural, that is the natural thing, the cultural values we have. And I want to talk intensively on it. Our culture has been the major reason why we are where we are today, because we inherited, me personally, I came up and discovered that when there is a decision to be taken in a family, my mother will not be included. It's my father and my brothers that will take decision and just inform her. And I just gave an example with myself, and that was what was happening all around since ages. So they may now felt that that's the normal thing. Women are not are not supposed to be part of decision making. She is to sit there, take care of the home, the children, prepare a meal for him. So that's culture. And aside that, as time went on, when Christianity came, for the Christians, it changed a little bit. But for majority of the Muslims up till today, majority of the women are left at home because that's the culture enshrined into religion. So religion and culture have significantly made us to be where we are today. And the other thing I want to talk about is finances. Politicians spend lots of money before they get into power. And so if you don't have that finance, if you don't have money with you to play politics, it may not be very easy. It may not be easy for you. And because the women have been there, not participating, not being part of the governance, there is nothing that they kept for the elections that may be coming up and they want to aspire. It is a problem for them.
Incidentally, it appears women have so much more work to do, and you have also, amongst other things, highlighted how that political parties' leadership structure is such a way that little or no room is given to women, apart from being woman leader and all that. I've asked this same question to at least two ladies in the last 2+ years. Do you think that it's time women started, if you like, figuring out a way to come up with political parties that focus 100% on women? In other words, should we have at least one party where you have all women, leadership, membership, top to bottom?
No, sir, I wouldn't buy into that idea because politics also is government for the people and by the people. So by the time now we converge in one place that women, this is our political party, we are coming up with this, it's not going to be so nice. because, as I was saying earlier, I don't even want to fault the men for what they are doing because they inherited it. I think the best way to go on this is to continue advocacy, awareness creation, and then lobbying. Let them understand that it's not like that, and then tell them that they should look around. Even just in African countries, some countries have achieved and gone beyond the 35% affirmative action, while we are still at 4%. We are not up to 5%. So when they look at that, at least let them look at it and understand that they have signed treaties, they have signed protocols, that back in Nigeria we are going to do the same thing, but we are still there. We are not close to the 35% affirmative action. And so how are people looking at them as Nigerian men, the giant of Africa? That others are growing, we are just stagnant, because the fact that 50% of your population are not included in what you do, we are stagnant.
Politics is expensive, they say, so it costs a lot of funding. Hopefully women will also be able to find their way around that. Jonah will ask you one question shortly, but I just want to find out from you, as we inch closer to the next round of general elections, do you see female governors emerging in 2027?
Yes. Yes, I do.
What's the basis on which you express such hope?
Yeah, because we've been learning over the years, and that is one of the reasons. We've been learning over the years, and that is why one of the reasons why I said there should not be single party for women. We have learned from men what they do, and some of the women that are able to come close to power, they are deputy governors amongst us. They have come close to power. I believe they would have gathered, and we are going to converge to make sure that they excel and become governors.
All right, you spoke about affirmative procurement. That's my own forte, basically. First,
affirmative action.
Affirmative action when it comes to inclusivity of women in governance and all of that. But don't you think that women have a hard time in supporting themselves? Do you think they actually believe that a woman can actually, give it her all at a point without being subdued by the men?
Yeah, we can, but it is going to be difficult, because if they discover that we are about doing that also, they can easily come with divide and rule, and so. But let me break this news to you.
Please do.
That of recent, we are now one. We are speaking with one voice. We are living in unity amongst the parties. The women in the different political parties have come together and agreeing. Those of us that are not active politicians, we have joined them. Those of them that are civil servants, captains of industries, the women selling the market women, whatever field of endeavor a woman is doing, we are now converging to be one. And so with that, there is complete turnaround, and we are going to support each other this time.
Well, what more can I say? While we support women, we throw our weight behind them, seeing what they've achieved, at least the last 20 plus years in particular, whether in politics or in private sector. We also want to believe that 2027 will be a year where women will get to do much more. But I just want to ask you this. This is our last question on the program. Are young women coming up? Let's talk about modeling for them. You are up in front of them. Many of them look up to you. Some of them have never met you in person, but they take after you in certain ways in terms of leadership. Are we getting it right? Are women getting it right with mentoring the younger girls coming behind them?
So I think that will also give me the opportunity to take you back to who we are and then come to this mentoring. The National Council of Women Societies, NCWS Nigeria, is an affiliate of an international organization of women called International Council of Women, ICW. That very organization was founded in 1886. And Nigeria got registered with her in 1998. All other countries of the world are registered with the the International Council of Women. In fact, Nigeria came a bit late. We got there in 1958. And when we got registered, and in each country of the world, it's only one organization they register with. And so in Nigeria, we are representing the whole of Nigerian women at that council in the world. And when we got registered, the mandate they gave us is to make sure Nigerian girls are educated, including the women. If a woman is older and was not able to be in school, she can go for adult education. And so many have gone into adult. It's not that cadency in the community. Everybody is well brought up. We become like community leaders. We talk to any child that is not behaving well. Every child belongs to all of us. And if you remember, that was what was happening years back. It is now that things have changed. I'm the 16th national president of the National Council of Women's Societies, NCWS Nigeria. And right from the first president to where I am, to me now, we have strictly dwelled on that, to educate our girls, make sure they are healthy, give them food, protect them from the gender-based violence and other vices, make them to be aware of who they are so that they develop their potentials. And we've been preaching that over the years. And even me, they taught me that because I joined the National Council since 1996, and so they've kept on mentoring me until I am where I am today. And at this stage, from this 15 presidents plus myself, we strictly adhere to that. And so that is why you see